Hello everyone, it's Alana, your potato queen, here with another cosplay rant. And what is this about, you may ask? Well, it is about Patreon. Now, for those of you who don't know, Patreon is an amazing site for us purveyors of the art to get support from our fans so we can continue to produce our art, because often it's really hard to pay the bills when you're a creative source. That's just the way our society currently is right now, and our government defunding the arts certainly is not helping. But all politics aside, it's supposed to be a place where we can continue to produce content, and our loyal fans who love us can continue to support us with small donations from $5 to, $100 a month, depending on what prizes you want. Now, I actually love the idea of Patreon. I think it's amazing. I'm so glad whoever thought of it. Nice work, A+, high five. My issue, the thing I want to rant about is Patreon isn't for porn, cosplayers. Now, I have spoken many times in the past, so I am absolutely fine if you want to do lewds, use cosplay, or things like that in a sexual nature, because, you know, you're an adult, as long as you're an adult. If you're not an adult, then you can't do that. No, sit down, go to your room, bad. Think about what you've done. But anyways, if you are a grown adult, you can absolutely choose to dress sexy, sell sexy prints, do all these things in cosplay. Patreon should not be what you're utilizing then. You should have, a site, maybe a pay-per-click, or, you sell your nudes or lewds off those, Cosplay Deviants. There are so many places to appropriately sell your porn, because there is nothing wrong with being a sex worker or making that porn. Patreon is not one of those. When you're a cosplayer, you should be having Patreon to create more cosplays, obviously. Things you can offer, chats, exclusive photo shoots, extra tutorials, extra videos, behind-the-scenes shots, merch. But nowadays, all I see on Patreon from cosplayers is not safe for work photos. Not safe for work photos. Why? Patreon does not equal porn. Now, if you were already doing porn beforehand and maybe you decide to go over Patreon so you can produce more porn, okay, I understand that logic. That makes sense. But if you are a cosplayer and you do not produce porn except for Patreon, don't produce porn for Patreon. That's not what Patreon is for. Patreon is for continuing to produce the product you're already producing. You get that? So if you're producing porn, use Patreon to produce more porn. Sure, have a blast. If you're not using Patreon for porn, go put porn on Cosplay Deviants or other sites where you can make money off your hard sex work. If you are a cosplayer and you don't normally have nudes, porn, or anything on your cosplay site, don't offer it as a reward for Patreon. And the reason you might be like, why, Alana? It's my business, blah, blah, blah. It is your business, what you do. And you can absolutely not listen to my rant right now, because that's your right as an adult to do. But you are making it incredibly hard for other cosplayers who want to have Patreon actually about cosplay to succeed. Everyone just wants nudie and not safe for work pics now, because that's what even the biggest cosplayers are doing. And I've talked in the past where I don't care who does what. The issue I have is that so many people are doing it. It's creating basically cosplayers must do this. Because I've been thinking about a Patreon. I've been asked many times about Patreon. And I'll do a not safe for work photo shoot every now and then for funsies and to celebrate my body, maybe once a year or two. But I'm not going to do it every month, and I'm not going to do it solely for my Patreon. Because Patreon is not for porn! Are we getting that? Is the point computing? Patreon is supposed to, you can continue to produce. And now this isn't just about creators, it's about you consumers. If you're only supporting a Patreon so you can get those nudies and lewdies and everything else in between, fucking grow up, support the cosplayer because of their talent and because of the other things they bring to the table. Cosplayers shouldn't have to feel compelled to take off their clothes in order to keep your attention. And again, I love a sexy lady or dude every now and then. I don't mind, everyone taking a moment to celebrate themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just when it feels like we have no choice, or when the market forces us to do so in order to succeed, that I have an issue. And right now, I have a huge issue with how Patreon for cosplayers has basically become a porno fest. I don't want to have to feel like I have to do that to succeed. I want to get by on my talent, my personality, what I provide you, the information I give, and me. I don't want to just get by because of these. This is just, 5 or 10 pounds of me. That's it. So, that has been my cosplay rant about porn on Patreon. Other than that, I hope you all have a great rest of the day. And remember, even if we disagree on this, I still love you, and please be safe. Bye!
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like, comment, or even subscribe. You know, if you're cool or something, because this channel is totally only for cool kids. Who am I kidding? Just be safe out there, okay, guys? Bye!